Welcome to Liesl's Artistic Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to both draw and paint this pretty little Christmas watercolor piece that you can display as decor or paint on the front of a Christmas card. So let's get started, and don't forget to like and subscribe. For supplies today, we need watercolor paper cut to any desired size. We need water and a paper towel, some brushes. I have a few here today. This is a large round brush, a small round brush, and this is a script liner brush that has long, skinny bristles. I also have a pencil and watercolor paints mixed with water and ready to go. For my colors today, I have a nice sap green, a brownish green that you can make by mixing sap green with a little bit of red. I also have blue-green, red, and a darker red that you can make by mixing red and black together. All right, let's go over really quickly how you can get your base drawing done for this painting. As you can see, I have already lightly drawn out a quick sketch of what I want in my drawing and where I want it placed. But let's go over it together. The first step to this drawing is pretty easy. I'm just going to start by drawing some circles for my berries. These berries will be the center of the surrounding greenery and will also become the focal point. I'm also positioning my drawing a little higher up on my page so that I have a little room underneath it to put some words. But of course, you can choose how and where you do yours. Next, draw 4 or 5 holly leaves that stem out and surround the berries. Keep in mind that these leaves have jagged peaks all along the edges, and it also might be a good idea to make them different sizes to add some interest to your painting. Now I'm just going to add 2 simple branches of a more rounded leaf, one branch to either side of the holly and berries. Next, I'll add 2 branches of small berries to either side. For my last step, I'm going to add a few pine branches stemming out from some of the more empty spots of my picture. Now, if you've left an empty space at the bottom of your picture, you can add any words to it that you like. All right, now for the fun part. It's finally time to paint. We're going to start by taking some of the blue-green and paint the rounded leaf branches. Paint each leaf as well as the stem. And if you can, try to have some of the leaves have slightly different values so that they don't all look the same. Here's one way to make the leaves a little lighter in value. Put a little bit of paint down on your paper, then rinse your brush off. Dab the tip of the brush on your paper towel to take off any excess water. Then use your damp brush and finish spreading that paint in the remainder of the area. Now I'm actually going to skip this leaf right here and come back to it when the last leaf I just painted is dry. If I try to paint it now, the 2 leaves that are touching would start blending together, and in this case, I don't want that to happen. Now that my painting is dry, I'm going to go back and paint the 2 leaves I missed. Next, I'm going to paint the holly leaves. I'm going to do these using the wet on wet technique. So I'll wet down the majority of the leaf with water. Then using mostly the brownish green with some touches of the pure sap green, I'll add and spread the color until it looks how I want. Keep in mind that the leaves will look more realistic if you can have some light and dark areas on each leaf. Next, I'm going to take the script liner brush and the pure sap green color to paint the long, thin pine needles. If you don't have a script brush, no worries. A fine, thin brush will work just fine. Also, don't feel like you have to follow each pine needle line you drew earlier. They are just a guide, and you can always go back and erase any extra pencil marks when it's dry. To paint the stems for the small berries, I'm going to take some dark red and mix it together with some green to make more of a brown color. Then after the stems are painted, I'll use my small brush and the dark red and paint the berries. A great way to paint the berries is to paint the inside circle and around the pencil line with the dark red. Then rinse and dry your brush and use your damp brush to spread the color to the remaining part of the circle. It is also fun to leave a tiny circle unpainted and white so that it looks like a shiny highlight. Since my holly leaves are dry, I'm going to really quickly go back in and paint the center vein using the brownish green. For the last thing to paint on this painting, I'm going to paint the center berries with red using the same method as I did with the small berries. As a side note and an optional idea, you can take some dark red and carefully paint any white or empty spots that are between the center berries. Now, if you've chosen to write any words at the bottom of your painting, you can either paint the words with a thin paintbrush or you can use a pen or a marker, whatever you feel comfortable doing. I have some calligraphy pens that I will be using for mine. And here is your beautiful and festive Christmas watercolor. I hope you had fun today, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, please consider subscribing to my channel so I can continue to help you discover your artistic side.